Hey Domino's, I want you guys to have credit and funding options as much as you need. And when it comes to these funding options, you have to have a registered business. It is one of the critical pieces of your foundation when you're getting everything set up. You do not want to miss this piece. And understanding how it works is part of the process, guys. So it may sound complicated, it may seem like it's a little bit overwhelming at times. But that's why you're here on this channel because it's not. I'm here to show you how to get this done. I have two businesses, both are separate from my personal name. I advise my students and I advise my clients to do the same because we are teaching you guys how to leverage yourselves. Make yourself attractive to lenders, credit issuers, underwriters. You do not want to be living on your personal credit, guys, okay? Eventually, you're going to hit a wall if you are doing that. So you want to separate things. I've lived on personal credit before. It was awful, as I'm sure many of you can relate. Setting up an LLC is one of the best decisions that you can make when you're thinking about it in terms of long term, right? You want to protect yourself from any type of future bumps or obstacles or whatever can come up down the road. Trust me, you guys do not want to skip out on this video because this literally helps you if you don't set up your LLC and your credit lines and get them funded correctly, then there won't be any extra real money coming in to help you grow, guys. So I know exactly where you are if you're in a situation where you're kind of spinning in circles, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling frustrated, confused, right? Because maybe you're hearing one thing here and then you're stepping over here and you're hearing something different, so you're not really sure what to decipher. Then breathe. It's okay, okay? I got you. I'm Dominique. I've been in the lending space since 2019. And since then, I've helped businesses secure over 5 million in capital. That number continues to grow, guys. I've built DFX, a financial literacy and funding platform that helps diverse founders establish a credible foundation and then matches those founders to funders, even if you've been denied by traditional banks. I love this space. I love entrepreneurship. It literally changed my life. You already know here on the Domino Effect that I'm dedicated to providing you with all of the free training courses and resources that you need to help you start and grow your business and how to get money to grow your business. So you are here. You are the first domino in the chain to propel yourself forward. If you find this information helpful and you like this channel, then go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so I can continue to make free training and courses just like this one. First, let's talk about limited liability. What does that mean? It's pretty much in the name there. Limited liability company. It's separating your liability, limiting your liability. What does that mean to you when you're thinking about it in terms of credit cards, in terms of loans, in terms of funding? How can you limit that type of liability for yourself? It's basically a protective shield around your assets if something goes wrong, God forbid, or if you happen to be involved in a lawsuit, you want to protect yourself so they're not going after your personal stuff, right? Like your assets, your house, your savings, your car, your spouse's, anything that you have tied with your spouse or your children, your bank accounts. So you want to protect yourself. You want to actually set yourself up that's going to really give you a real chance of success. I want to give you some examples of a lot of companies that actually started out as LLCs and now they're huge, right? They're worth billions of dollars. We're talking about companies like Facebook. Okay, everybody knows Facebook, right? I'm sure everybody here has a Facebook account. We're talking about companies like Apple, right? You got an iPhone, you have a MacBook. I mean, all you got to do is walk outside. BlackBerry, some of you might not even remember what BlackBerry is, but it was a phone. Pepsi Cola, there was Chrysler as well. Stripe started out as an LLC. Nike, a shoe creator. I know everybody's got a pair of Nikes, right? Nike is a shoe creator. They started out as an LLC. And now these companies are worth billions of dollars. So you can grow, you can expand, you will convert eventually if you end up being one of these type of companies that is at that level, right? You'll convert along the way to a corporation. But this is just to show you what you can do when you register your business. So be thinking big because these guys, they went down, they made a decision. They said, I'm going to start a business. They registered their business. They got the EIN, right? Got set up properly. And then and now look at them. Getting your own LLC isn't complicated. So I'm going to walk you through this and I'm going to break it down for you. First thing you want to do is you want to pick a name. You can go online, research, Google the name that you're that you like, that you want to register, and make sure that it's available. One thing here you might want to check is going to the domain. Type it in to the URL and see if that domain is available. So now if you need to amend the name, don't worry about it. Don't get caught up in that. And don't let that stop you from going and filing your LLC. Don't be sitting at home so long that you're like, oh, I'm just trying to come up with the perfect name until I can get in there. No, come up with a name, right? Do your research, make sure the name is available. And then also make sure that it's not a name that's actually in a high risk category. Banks, lenders, and underwriters, they look at something called an NAICS code. And we talk about that in other videos. So what you want to make sure you're picking a name that's not in a high risk category. And then once you've got that filed, that's the first step. Next, you want to get your business address. Now, I've had this conversation so many times. You want to be looking at a physical business address, meaning you want to be if you're in a brick and mortar, you're using that address. But if you're working from home, for all of my consultants and all of my e-commerce people who are working from home, you don't want to be using your home address. I highly suggest that you get a virtual office. There's a couple ways that you can think about this, guys. When you are filing, your information is public. So, especially for all my female entrepreneurs out there, as you grow, and it's okay, I think, in the beginning to register as your home address, but you want to keep in mind that you're not going to want to keep it that way. Okay, you're exposing yourself out there. Let's say you have a disgruntled customer, they know where you live now. Okay, they can come and find you. And guys, I've had this conversation with quite a few businesses who are already registered. They've already been registered to their home address. And you know how it is, you're pretty held to it, right? So I've had the conversation with a lot of businesses that are like, I'm already registered here. I don't want to change anything. I don't want to have to do anything else right now. This is what I'm focused on. I want to keep it registered to my business address, or I have some other things set up and I don't want to mess any of that up. Okay. So one of the main things that I want to do as part of this training is take some time to show you why we say register for a virtual office if you are working from home, because we are teaching you strategies here, guys. We're teaching you the strategies in order for you to optimize the best rates, the best terms, the best approval amounts, and how you can leverage yourself to put yourself in the best position, right? To make yourself attractive to lenders and credit issuers and underwriters. Okay, we know what they're looking for and what you need to do to put yourself in the best position possible. So let me give you some tips here from their point of view. When you are using your home address, they're looking at it. Are you a credible business? How are you operating? Okay, if you're registered to your home, then it's going to look like you're high risk. You're going to a bank asking for a business loan, but you're operating out of your home. Yes, things change. Yes, I know that there are a lot of people working from home. But however, you're not looking at this from your perspective, guys. We got to step outside of that. So look at it from their perspective. They will tend to kind of view that as you lack credibility, guys. And if you're not registered, let's tap into if LLC versus sole prop. Can you get funding as a sole prop? Yes, you can. You can get funding as a sole prop, but when you think about sole prop versus LLC, lenders and credit issuers and even investors are hesitant to lend to sole props. Okay, they view them also as lacking credibility. And not only that, they view it as there's a greater chance that you're not going to pay the loan back. Okay, so make sure that you're thinking about these types of things when you're going to go get set up. It really depends on where you're at and what you're willing to do. In terms of what the lenders and credit issuers are looking at, what's going to put you in the best position is if you have a physical business address that is not registered to your home. Now let's touch on really briefly, what about if you're a sole prop? Can you stay a sole prop, or should you just amend to an LLC? Well, you can do both. You can stay a sole prop depending on, where you're at in the business. If you are a single member, if you don't have any employees, if this is a new business, you're not generating a lot of revenue, you're under 2,000 a month, you could stay a sole prop, but be thinking eventually that you do want to register. And there are things that you want to do if you're going to stay a sole prop, like if you need licenses, if you insurance, right? Those are things that you want to do to protect yourself, okay, right? Because we're talking about protection here when we're talking about forming an LLC. Now, if you don't want to stay with the LLC, and let's say you're already a sole prop and you want to stay that way, these are the expectations and the realism that you need to have with yourself, okay, guys? If you stay a sole prop, it can be hard down the road to raise capital. If down the road you're envisioning that you're going to grow this business and you're going to be seeking investors, how are you going to offer shares if you're a sole prop? Okay, so you want to be thinking about in terms of where are you headed, right? Where's your vision going? Okay, so a formal corporate structure is needed when you want to secure capital from investors or from a bank. Okay, so just be advised. And I know it may seem unfair at times, but that's just the way it is. We got to let that fairness thing go. Okay, you guys, we got to let it go and leverage ourselves. Now, banks and credit issuer banks, they want to see certain things, right? They want to see time in business. They're looking at industry. However, there are different ways that LLCs can get more funding. Your personal liability when you're a sole prop is really high. Okay, your personal liability is very high. So if you want to stay a sole prop, you can, but you're responsible for 100% of all business debts. So if you have any lawsuits, if anything goes wrong, if somebody gets hurt, if you have an event and you don't have any insurance, let's say you get sued, everything is going to go under the business, okay? And not only that, since you're not able to use your EIN to be able to get funding, you're not able to access other different types of financing that you otherwise would be able to if you were established as an LLC. You're really limiting yourself. You're putting yourself in this little box. So essentially, you're going to have to use a personal guarantee at all times. And what you want to be doing is investing your personal guarantee for when the time is right. So you don't have to be using your personal guarantees all the way up front because eventually you're going to hit a wall. So it may seem easier at the time, and it might be. It really just depends on your situation. I highly recommend getting with a tax strategist. I'm not a tax strategist. I'm only advising you on how you can leverage and get this funding, right? So it may seem easier at the time, you guys, in the very beginning, but if your goal is to grow, think about where you're headed in the long term so that you're not running into any situations at a later time. So if you are a sole prop and you want to remain a sole prop, you can, just to clear this up, you can get financing under your personal credit if your personal credit qualifies, right? You're at a 680, you're current, you don't have too many inquiries, you can get financing under that. But just be advised, you're eventually going to hit a wall, and your debt to income ratio, your personal credit score is going to get tanked, okay? So use your personal guarantee and when it's best, when you can leverage it. And keep in mind that if you want to stay a sole prop, banks, lenders, and credit issuers, it limits your ability on how much capital you can access because many don't want to lend to sole prop, so it can be more challenging as opposed to if you're an LLC or a corporation to get funding. And because of the liability, right, you're not an established business, they're not looking at you as credible, they're going to ask you for a personal guarantee, which means you're going to be using your personal credit score. So if your personal credit score is not at a 680 and above, your options are still limited. I can tell you guys hundreds and hundreds of stories of clients that are using their personal credit that have hit their personal credit right before they got to us, and it severely limited their funding options at the time, and they were very overextended. All right, you guys, let's get back into it. Next, you're gonna need your EIN. Your EIN, you can use this to build credit. You can use this to get credit cards. You can use this to get funding, okay? So you need your EIN and you need the information from the IRS, okay? This is your social security number for your business, so you do not want to skip this over. Then you're gonna need a business bank account. The very first thing, even if once you go and start this business for free, if you are taking money, any type of money, then you need to be depositing it into a business bank account. You don't want to be commingling your funds between your personal and your business bank account. It's a headache for you at the end of the year. It's a headache for your bookkeeper at the end of the year. And also, if you're accepting money through third-party apps like Cash App, Venmo, you don't want to keep it in there and transfer it to your personal, transfer it to your business, okay? Pay yourself from your business. Keep your deposits going into your business. It only strengthens you on paper when the underwriters are looking at you. And guys, protect yourself, because if you're mixing the two, that can put you at risk. Be advised that keeping this separate is only going to help you. Having a business bank account only helps you. And also, you should know, even the bare minimum, if you're going to go look for business bank financing, they want to see at the bare minimum 3 months of business bank statements. If you don't have business bank statements, you have nothing to supply, that automatically takes you out of the running. Be advised, you want to have a business bank account. Now, there are steps to this, okay, guys? You don't want to be going and getting your business bank account if you don't have your business address. You don't want to do it all out of order. There are steps to it. But when you get approved, when you have this all done, print out your documents, get your get your Secretary of State document, your EIN confirmation letter, print it out, boom, you are good to go. Now, here's some things to keep in mind when you are forming an LLC. It is not a one-time deal. You do have fees associated with it, which is why we touched on sole props just for a little bit, because sole props don't require a lot of startup capital, right? But when you're doing an LLC, you are required to pay fees, and you have some filing fees. You have annual fees that you have to stay up to date with, and you have to keep paying. And you have to keep them active. And a lot of people I know maybe don't think about this, or maybe just they don't have the capital to actually pay those fees at the time. So starting off as a sole prop just made more sense for them. Some people think that it may be a one-time investment, guys, when you're setting up an LLC. I just want you to know that it's not. Some states will even require that you publish in the paper. If you're doing a DBA, like in California, then you have to publish that in the paper. So you may not like some of the rules, some of the regulations that you'd have to abide by, but it doesn't matter. You have to do it, right? So it might seem old-fashioned, but that's okay. We do what we got to do to get what we got to get done. And now you're ready to ask for some funding. After you've got your LLC set, okay, you've got your address, you have all of that set up, you have your address, you've got your EIN, you've got your information from the IRS, your IRS confirmation letter, have everything registered with the Secretary of State, you are set up, okay? Now you're ready to get into funding, okay? So without cash flow, you're basically like a rocket going to the moon with no fuel, okay? You're not going anywhere. You're going to stay right here on the ground. Or you're going to go a little bit and then pop right back down. So there are a few ways that you can do this, but really what it comes down to is what you plan to do with the business, what the use of funds are. And we fund LLCs and corporations all the time here at Domino FX Group on our financial literacy and funding platform, DFX, where we help provide financing for diverse entrepreneurs. Even if you've been denied by traditional banks, guys, and we do that in a number of ways. Now, you've started a new business and you need capital to get things up and running. You need like 50 grand for marketing to get some of the equipment going. Then to hire some staff, you can utilize 0% interest financing. If you have a 680 credit score, you have minimal inquiries, everything is up to date, everything is current, then you can absolutely use 0% financing to build your business. Second, you can use loans. These are loans that come from a bank. These are loans that are coming from family or friends, from a third party. Wherever that may be, you can get business loans, you can get personal loans, you can establish business credit as well. If you have cash flow, you can do revenue-based financing. If you have accounts receivables, you can do AR, you can do factoring, you can do equipment financing. If you're a startup, even you have no revenue, there's options for you to do equipment. Even if you don't have great credit, maybe you have like a 580 and you need to get some vehicle financing, right? We might be able to help you with that as well, because we have customized packages and a really great network of lenders that are focused on helping you guys, okay? There's a massive pool of private capital out here, guys. All the money is available, honey. It's just about the strategies to get there. So we're putting your loan packages together and matching you with the funder that is the right fit for you, if you are a right fit for us, and we're able to help you. If you're in real estate, if you're buying a property, you can get approved for financing. If you're doing fix and flips, rehabs, you're doing multifamily, we can help you. If you're doing painting, if you're getting a new roof, whatever, if you need supplies, right, before you do the job, right, then you need money, you need funding to get this going. So we can help you with doing that. All you've got to do is reach out. But ultimately, the key to what you want to do is make sure that you're protecting yourself as much as possible. Because if it's one thing that I want you guys to get out of it, is setting up your LLC is really about protecting yourself. Okay. Now, if you don't have a lot of assets and you don't have, a need for that right now, then you can absolutely start as a sole prop. But also think about it in terms of your tolerance. If down the road you're going to be setting yourself up as an LLC, are you going to be able to take some time away are you going to be able to take some time away to do your documents, to get all your financials in order, to update your bank accounts, to update your information with, the secretary? Are you going to have time to do that? Some people do. Some people would rather just come in and get everything set up the right, one swoop. That way they're not having to do it later. And then other people do it as they grow. They start off as sole props until they reach a certain revenue point, and then they come in and they amend. Okay. So this isn't complicated, guys, and it is worth spending the time on. It is worth doing some research on what you think is going to be the best option for you and your business. But ultimately, no matter what, you want to be protecting yourself. You may not have a house right now, but you will. You may not have, that building, that warehouse right now, but you will. You may not have that fleet right now, but you will, right? Isn't that why you started this business? So protect yourself, protect your assets, protect your bank account, protect your family, okay? As you grow. Loans are a great option to help you when you have huge startup costs, when you're starting a business, and there are startup costs to starting a business, right? No matter if you're doing a catering business, a consulting business, you got a bakery, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You have costs to starting this business, okay? If you want to do marketing, if you, whatever that is, you're going to have some cost to it. And then let's say you need $150,000 to get this up and going, okay? You need money for a down payment on this property. You need money for a down payment on a cash flowing business, whatever that is. Our platform DFX can step in and help you get started. Now, guys, if you're a sole prop, I don't hope I'm not discouraging you, because there are funding options for you. You can do things like crowdfunding. There's personal credit options as well, okay? But make sure you are documenting everything. Document everything properly. Get with an attorney, get with a tax strategist, have these conversations, sit down with an advisor, and don't be afraid to ask for help. This mentality of, oh, I can do everything on my own, I don't need anybody else, is actually might be what is holding you back, okay? Like I said, there is a massive pool of capital out here that wants to be dispersed. It is not that the banks don't want to lend to you guys. It's just, unfortunately, real talk, most of you don't qualify. Let's recap what we learned here today. There's 2 ways for you to get funding. There's multiple ways for you to get funding for your LLC, but we'll touch on a few. AR financing, if you have accounts receivable, if you are invoicing your other businesses, you can do advances against your cash flow. If you are accepting credit cards, you can do revenue-based financing. You can do business credit lines. You can do SBA loans. You can do SBA Express. You can do term loans. SBA Express, we have excellent programs for women-owned programs and veterans. You can establish your business credit. There's ways to start building with getting your equipment. Guys, there's personal loans, if you qualify, right, that are not actually going to reflect on your personal credit unless you don't make your payments, right? So if there are ways for you to get funding for your business, there's so many options out there. We just want to make sure that you have the strategies so that you are getting the best rates, terms, and approvals. First, it truly is figuring out what works best for you, your specific situation, because trust me, when I say it's not complicated, you can do this. It's fair to say that it's not easy, right? But it's possible. You can absolutely do this. And whether you're putting in cash, whether you're putting in your own money, or you're going to be seeking out a loan, or maybe you have an investor, the important thing, even if you are going to be seeking investment, they want to see that you know how to protect yourself. And when the lender is looking at you and your application, they're thinking about how are they going to protect themselves as well. From you, you want to keep your assets safe, right? You may not have them now, but you got to plan for the future, the vision, okay? And set your LLC up for success. Okay, so hopefully when you do have that billion-dollar company, it's really not that difficult. So if you want help with or advice with your LLC, what you should do, reach out to, like I said, reach out to your attorney, reach out to your tax strategist, schedule your funding planning session so we can help you see what you qualify for right now. And then if you don't qualify for, what your next steps are to get you there. My father was in the military. We've got excellent programs for veteran-owned businesses, and I'm a female founder myself, so we are passionate about helping women in business as well. So if you are a diverse small business owner, we've got a program for you. We do bridge financing, we do unsecured financing, personal credit, 0% interest on. Also, on November 16, guys, we're getting into it. November 16, we're talking about how you can get $50,000 in business credit, but even then talking about strategies to leverage. You do not want to miss out on this. I want to help you guys get funded, okay? We're on a mission to impact entrepreneurs, okay? So if you do these things, guys, then you have a strong foundation. You can move forward and you can apply for the right type of credit, whether that be business credit, whether that be personal credit. You can eliminate your denials and you get way more approvals. Click the link below if you want your free step-by-step business credit guide. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel where we provide all kinds of free training courses and resources so you can get funding for your business. I want you guys to do two things, okay? The first thing I already told you was claim your step-by-step business credit guide. But the second thing is talk to us, reach out, connect. All right, you can easily get this done. You can do this on your own or you can do this with our program, but you can do this. So talk to our team about where you're at. You can schedule time at plan.dominofxgroup.com and get your free funding planning session. Thanks, guys. That's it for today. Appreciate you watching The Domino Effect. I hope that you learned a lot from this free course. And did you get value from this training? Because if so, then you know the YouTube algorithm. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so that I can continue to make more free courses and training just like this one on how you guys can get financing for your business. And if you have any questions or comments, then go ahead and text me at 888-488-4145. See you next time.